We'll start with our refined colour sketch and then begin to trace the shapes with vectors on top. Let's begin with the placeholder character. This will give us a sense of scale to the forest. We start with the basic default vector circle, scaling and resizing it so it fits the underlaying sketch. Just tweaking the points here so they match the sketch better. The points come closer together at the top to form more of an egg shape. Next we trace the horns carefully using a point on the top of the horn, middle and where it curves inward. You can duplicate the horns by selecting the original and pressing Alt and drag. Then merge the horn shapes by selecting the layers with Alt and click, then using Ctrl and E on PC or Command and E on Mac to merge. To clean up the horns so they merge to one vector with the body, go to the shape symbol at the top of the menu and select Merge Shape Components. Block out the ears next with 4 points, then double click on the vector layer and colour drop on the body to match the colour. When done, use Alt and click to copy the ear, then flip it horizontally. I definitely recommend to make a Photoshop action for this, so it speeds things up later. Blocking out the leg, we have a thick shape that tapers towards the foot. There is a small suggestion of a foot at the end. For the shot, we are going to have the character jump in the air, so let's rotate the legs into a dynamic position. Eyes are next, so use the default vector circle and then stretch it and colour pick from the sketch below to match the dark brown. Press Alt and click to duplicate one eye, then move them around to get the right position. The mouth is simple. We use 2 curves meeting at a tight point at the top, using the same colour as the eyes, tweaking the lower vector points to make sure they have a nice curved edge. Don't worry about point placement here, as you can always come back to your vectors and edit them later. This is fine for a first pass. When you have done the character, right-click in the corner of the Layers palette and select Convert to Smart Object, so we have the high-resolution version. The Smart Object is good to use because it eliminates too many layers and groups and makes your layers more efficient. Double-click the Smart Object in the Layer palette, so we will now work directly inside of the Smart Object with all the layers. Changing the canvas here to 200 by 200 pixels, just so it gives us enough space to work with. Continuing to tweak the character until we're satisfied with it. Making further tweaks to the vector points around the eyes and squashing and scaling them. Press Command and S or Ctrl and S to save so that your Smart Object updates in your main scene where you have been tracing your sketch in vectors. It's a good idea to zoom in and out when you're working on your graphics to see how everything fits well together. In the next video, we'll look at making a tileable mountain section for the background.